Hello, Mayor and council members. I'm Brian Kuznick, Fire Chief. This presentation outlines the 2027 proposed budget reductions for the Greeley Fire Department. Throughout the budget reduction process, our goal was to support the city while maintaining safe, effective, and reliable emergency services. It's important to note that we evaluated reductions based on service level impacts to the community, as well as impacts to our firefighters' health, wellness, and overall safety. Our approach first aligned with council priorities and took into consideration the expectations that our community has of their fire department and certainly our ability to maintain an exceptional level of service. We also stayed focused on the department's three core tenets of prevention, preparedness, and response. This slide outlines the six major program areas that were shared during the council retreat and where each program ranked with council. Staff worked to align our reductions with these priorities in mind, while also balancing the immediate and long-term impacts. The department was able to achieve its 4% reduction target, which was approximately $1 million. But it's also important to note that these reductions potentially increase risk to the community and our firefighters and will ultimately decrease the department's operational effectiveness over time. We used a systematic approach where we right-sized the line items based on historical spending. We then prioritized reductions within areas that we felt would have the least immediate service impact. We then reduced two non-sworn FTEs and then we reduced remaining discretionary lines by 5% across the board. The graph on the right shows the reductions in each program area, and the subsequent slides will summarize potential impacts. So the first program I'll review is the fire suppression program. This budget was reduced by approximately $40,000 or about 12% of the overall program budget. Primary impacts are to the personal protective equipment replacement program, overall equipment maintenance for fire suppression, and our ability to conduct hose and ladder testing using a third-party vendor. These reductions shift us from a proactive to a reactive maintenance program, which potentially increases risk of equipment failure, increases risk to firefighter safety, and will ultimately impact or reduce our operational effectiveness. The next program evaluated was our emergency medical services program. As you likely know, EMS accounts for approximately 80% of the calls that GFD runs. We proudly provide advanced life support at the paramedic level, and we are proud to have a progressive community paramedic program. The EMS program budget proposal includes a $164,000 reduction, which includes the elimination of the Squad 1 program manager. Remaining reductions total about $40,000 from supplies and services, which is roughly 30% of the remaining program budget. Anticipated impacts include reduced EMS supply replacement, delayed equipment replacement, decreased supervisory support for the community paramedic program, which will ultimately reduce our ability to coordinate with our healthcare partners, all of which will potentially lead to an increase in 911 utilization and potentially increasing response times and potentially impacting patient outcomes. The next program evaluated was our technical and specialized rescue program. As an all hazards fire department, GFD responds to hazmat, water, confined space, trench, and wildland incidents. This program budget was reduced by approximately $26,000, which is about 18% of the overall program budget. These impacts or these reductions will result in fewer equipment replacements and will limit our ability to attend outside training opportunities. These reductions decrease overall readiness for what we identify as low frequency, high risk events, and it shifts us towards reactive maintenance. The next program evaluated was the department's fire and EMS training and certification budget, which supports required certifications, leadership development, and professional development opportunities. These reductions are approximately $323,000 or nearly 50% of the overall program budget. Impacts include eliminating all outside training and travel that is unrelated to required certifications. It limits our ability to support sending current employees to paramedic school, and this reduction hinders our ability to properly onboard and develop new employees. Over time, we believe this will weaken our succession planning efforts, and it reduces our ability to maintain alignment with industry standards and operational best practices. The next program evaluated was the department's administration budget. This area supports department operations and a variety of strategic initiatives. Reductions total approximately $381,000 in this area, which includes the elimination of a budget analyst position, and the remaining reductions were based primarily on 3-year spending averages. While direct service impacts are limited from these budget reductions in this area, these reductions do decrease capacity for strategic planning and long-term organizational improvement. The next program evaluated was the Fire Prevention Bureau, which is responsible for reducing community risk through inspections, code enforcement activities, plans review, and public education efforts. This program was reduced by approximately $74,000, or about 35% of the overall program budget. These impacts will affect outside training opportunities, plan review capacity for the team for outsourcing plan reviews to a third-party vendor, and will have an impact to our public education efforts. It's important to note that reducing prevention efforts potentially increases the risk of preventable incidents and potentially impacts future emergency demand on our frontline apparatus. In summary, the department was able to meet its 4% reduction target of about $1 million. And there's 3 key takeaways that I'd like to share with council for your consideration. First, reduced prevention efforts, aging equipment, and fewer training opportunities increase what we believe risk to the city, the community, and certainly our firefighters. Second, rising service demand combined with reduced readiness may delay response times and negatively impact patient outcomes. And finally, reduced training opportunities and increased workload will have an impact on employee morale, and it will potentially create recruitment and retention challenges for us in the future. That concludes the presentation. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for your time and consideration. I look forward to further discussion at the May 26th work session. On behalf of the Greeley Fire Department, thank you for your continued support of our personnel, our operations, and of course, our service to the community. Thank you.